All right, let's talk about something that's probably been bugging you for a while. For your entire life, you've been sold this one story about how to get rich, right? You know the one. Work hard, save your 10%, dump it all into a 401k, and then maybe when you're 65, you can finally enjoy life. But what if that whole story is, well, what if it's a lie? What if the roadmap you've been following is actually the scenic route to a life of just getting by?
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. Is the grand prize at the end of a 40-year grind to finally have your millions when you're too old to even enjoy them? According to the author of The Millionaire Fastlane, that isn't just a bad plan, it's a total trap. And this book is all about the escape hatch. So here's the core difference. On the left, you've got the slow lane. This is what we're all taught. You're an employee, you're a saver, you trade your time for money for 40 plus years, you stress about the price of a latte, and you just pray the stock market pulls through. But the fast lane, that's a whole different game. It's the path of the entrepreneur, the producer. It's not about working harder, it's about building a system that works for you. It's about creating massive value and aiming for explosive growth so you can actually live your life while you're still young. And this quote, wow, it just nails the whole message. Following the herd, sticking to that get-rich-slow plan, is presented as a kind of financial insanity. It's a path that, by its very design, guarantees you'll be average. The fast lane is all about deliberately choosing to step out of line and onto a different road. So in this explainer, we're going to tear down MJ DeMarco's blueprint. We'll start with exposing the get-rich-slow lie. Then we'll map out the 3 different financial roads you can be on. After that, we'll get into the producer mindset, lay out the 5 non-negotiable business commandments, and finally, talk about building your own money machine and, hitting the gas.
All right, section 1, the big lie. The book basically argues that all the traditional financial advice, max out your 401k, trust and compound interest, it was never designed to make you truly wealthy. It's designed to make you a good, compliant worker for your entire life, where wealth is always this thing off in the distance, never something you can have right now.
DeMarco's own story started with this one simple, totally life-changing moment. He saw a young guy, maybe in his 20s, getting out of a Lamborghini, and he just had to ask him, how did you do it? And the answer wasn't, I'm a movie star or I'm a famous athlete. It was, I'm an inventor. And that was the spark. That was the moment he realized that insane wealth was actually possible for ordinary people if they just had the right map.
Okay, so let's get into the main framework of the book. DeMarco says every single one of us is on one of 3 financial roadmaps. And as we go through these, I want you to be really honest with yourself and ask, which road am I on right now? Visually, this is the choice the book lays out. On one side, you have the slow lane, that long, winding, predictable path that might get you to a pot of gold at the end of a very, very long rainbow. And on the other, the fast lane. It's more direct, it's more intense, for sure, but it's an exponentially faster way to get there. But there's actually a third road, one that isn't even on the map to wealth, that we need to talk about first. Okay, this slide breaks it all down perfectly. First, you've got the sidewalker. They're living paycheck to paycheck. They get a raise and they immediately think, oh, new car. They use debt to buy stuff that loses value. Time is just something to be spent. Then there's the slow laner, the good employee. They sacrifice today hoping for a better tomorrow, they avoid debt, and they trade their time for a salary. Their wealth is totally limited by their job. But the fast laner, wow, it is a completely different operating system. They use debt as a tool to build systems. They see time as their most valuable, non-renewable resource. And their wealth equation? It's based on profit and asset value. It has no ceiling. And this brings us to what is probably the most important shift you have to make. It's not really about what you do, it's about who you become. See, the fast lane is a mindset first and a strategy second. And it all boils down to one incredibly simple idea. This, right here. This is the entire game. You either produce things of value that other people buy, or you consume things of value that other people have produced. It's really that simple. One path leads to you getting wealthy, the other path leads to making someone else wealthy. Let's make this super tangible. A producer builds a software company that solves a major headache for people. A consumer pays a monthly subscription for that software. A producer writes a book. A consumer buys that book. A producer builds a portfolio of rental properties. A consumer pays rent every month.
The key thing here is you have to shift your entire identity from being on the receiving end of the economy to being on the creation end. These are the core beliefs that guide someone in the fast lane, and just look at how they totally flip conventional wisdom upside down. The slow lane says debt is evil. The fast lane says it can be a tool. The slow lane says trade your time for money. The fast lane says time is the most precious thing you own. And the ultimate goal isn't just a big pile of cash. It's about building passive income systems that create freedom for the rest of your life. It's a total paradigm shift.
Okay, so you've adopted the mindset. You want to be a producer. But what kind of business is a real fast lane business? Because let's be honest, a hot dog stand isn't it. Freelancing isn't it. DeMarco gives us this powerful 5-point checklist, an acronym he calls CENTS, to filter every single idea you have. This is your litmus test: control, entry, need, time, and scale. If a business idea doesn't hit all 5 of these, he argues, it's not a true fast lane vehicle. It's probably just a job in disguise. Let's break them down one by one. First up, control. Are you the one driving the car, or are you just a passenger? I mean, if you build your entire business on Amazon's marketplace, or as an Uber driver, you're a hitchhiker. They can change the rules, they can kick you off, they can tweak the algorithm overnight, and your entire business is just gone. A fast laner owns the road they're driving on. Next, entry. And this is pretty straightforward. How hard is it to start this business? If the answer is, not very hard, that is a huge red flag. Think about it. If anybody can start a t-shirt business in an afternoon, that road is going to be a massive traffic jam. Real opportunity is where the barrier to entry is high, where it takes real skill or capital or a unique process to get in. Now this one is the foundation of all value, the commandment of need. Forget your passions for just a second and ask, does this solve a real problem? Does it serve a genuine need that people have? Money doesn't chase passion, money chases solutions. People will gladly pay to have their problems solved. You want to get rich? Solve pain points.
This one is the big one for freedom, the commandment of time. Your business has to be able to operate without you being there all the time. Can it make money while you're on vacation? Can it make money while you sleep? If you have to trade an hour of your time for an hour of pay, you don't own a business, you own a job. The goal is a system that works for you. And finally, we have scale. Can your business reach a city, a country, or even the whole world? A local coffee shop has pretty limited scale. A software app has global scale. And this leads to what DeMarco calls the law of affection. Your wealth is a direct reflection of the scale of the value you provide. You want to make millions of dollars? You have to impact millions of people. Simple as that. So once you find an idea that passes that CENTS test, and that's a big if, the focus has to shift completely. It's not about dreaming anymore. It's not about planning. It's all about building. It's about execution. This is such a great point from the book. Forget the 100-page business plan that nobody is ever going to read. The hard truth is, ideas are worthless. Execution is everything. A mediocre idea with brilliant execution will always beat a brilliant idea with sloppy execution. The marketplace only rewards action, not ideas. And all of this, it all builds to the final and really the most important step. You've got the mindset, you've got the roadmap, you have the rules for building the right vehicle, so now there's only one thing left to do. And this quote is the perfect way to wrap things up. All of this knowledge is completely useless without action. The hardest part isn't the work itself, it's making that first decision to actually do something. That fear you feel, the book calls it a paper tiger. It looks terrifying, but it has no real power once you start moving forward. So, the ultimate question the book leaves you with is this. Looking at these two paths, knowing what you know now about the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane, which road are you going to choose to start driving on today?